Brought to you by Penguin.
The Devil Book by Asta Olivia Nordenhof, read by Neele Bjerre. Forward. Lolland, 6 November 2022. Readers of Volume 1 in the series will remember that the story ended with a call from Copenhagen. It was T ringing, T the businessman, who had plans to start a shipping corporation and was trying to find investors. In this volume, too, we were supposed to follow him from childhood up until the night when he sat waiting for the news that the fire on the Scandinavian Star had successfully been set. I wrote 3 versions of that book and hated every one. What was I doing in that man's head? There was nothing to be found there. If I say that he, like others, is prepared to kill for profit, then I've said of him what there is to be said, and can content myself with adding, yes, he was a person too. He had a phone with a very long antennae, and a mother whose lifelong pain was that she'd given birth to him. And so I had to put the owner in the grave, and instead begin to try to find the father of the modern businessman. This happened just as the pandemic was called off for the 3rd time. Planes returning to the sky. It made me so angry. Who, I asked, who has persuaded us that happiness is doing the impossible? It was the genius, the lunatic, the original burner of forests. So the 4th book I wrote was about Christopher Columbus. He sailed, of course, across the Atlantic. Could barely keep a salted sardine down for sheer excitement over this potentially wildly lucrative contract. And the trade winds, they were his fluke scoop. The trade winds brought him and his rotten ship, led them to another world, where he tramped around in heavy Spanish boots and wondered what a colourful bird might go for on the European market, since it had never been sold before. So he began to murder, kidnap kids, put people up for sale. But don't think he took pleasure in it. No, it was a tremendous bother, really. He simply calculated might pay off 500 years later. The Scandinavian Star arose in the middle of the Caribbean Sea, the sails replaced by a large hot engine. She was a floating casino for the white American middle class. Then she was bought by a Dane, sailed back across the Atlantic, set alight. But that manuscript I also hated. Believe me when I tell you, I practically threw up every time I opened the document. In such cases when you've lost yourself, when with fierce disdain you force yourself to read yet another biography of Columbus, or another article about a ship owner who got away with murder. In cases such as those, you've got to ask yourself, what was my motto again? My motto, which I had forgotten in my struggle to write a proper book about the inner life of great men. My motto is as follows. It's a simple one, and good. Fuck men. When I came to think about it, I came to think that I can do whatever I want. So this is my book. This is for you. This is an erotic thriller about businessmen and the devil. There are some poems about love, a speech from the asylum. It will be your job to make it fit into the series. I mean, really, I can't do the whole thing by myself. Asta Olivia Nordenhof. The Devil in a High-Rise. Day 1. It's raining in London. I'm in quarantine with a man I met the other day on a trip from Copenhagen to Vejle. A series of bureaucratic hiccups at Kastrup Airport had prevented him from picking up the rental car he'd booked from home, and so he had to take the train, like me. They were running a replacement bus service, as they so often do, and among the little group of people mutely waiting to be picked up outside Korsør station, he stood out by virtue of a loud telephone conversation. I've noticed him in his fitted navy blue suit and bright white trainers, but he must have slipped my mind again because it came as a surprise to find him standing right beside me. A train that's actually a bus is a contradiction in terms, he said, and smiled a practiced, quickly cut-short smile before adding he had noticed me at the main station. We sat next to each other on the bus, and as we drove, we
Sample complete. Ready to continue?